What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Uncle Fulio, and I'm here for episode number 7 of The Controversy. As always, make sure you like and subscribe to the Nothinbutknicks channel. Also, hit that notification bell to be notified of any new content that we have for you, whether it be pre-game or post-game coverage or anytime that we go live to give you the content that you deserve. What is my controversial take for this episode, for episode number 7? Tom Thibodeau should have never changed the starting lineup. He shouldn't have done it. He should not have done it. And I'm going to give you my reasons why. I'm going to go into it to explain to you why Tom Thibodeau should have kept the starting lineup the same against this Atlanta Hawks team. First things first, I'm not taking anything away from Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose has been playing out of his mind. He's been playing phenomenal basketball in these 3 playoff games. No question. Since we acquired him mid-season, that mid-season acquisition, it was just a great move that Leon Rose made to acquire Derrick and bring him in for a second-round pick and Dennis Smith Jr. Without question. No doubt. And I believe Derrick Rose is going to be sticking around the next couple of seasons in orange and blue because of his player performance. With that being said, why would you change the starting lineup right now? There was no reason to change the starting lineup right now. Not in the middle of a playoff series. The Knicks tied the series. The series was tied 1-1 coming into Game 3. The series was tied. And Game 1 went down to the wire. We lost by 2 points on a shot that Trae Young hit, basically at the buzzer. He didn't need a pick and roll to do it, by the way. He just dribbled right past Frank Ntilikina, who's supposed to be our best on-ball defender. Right? So why would you make the lineup change right now? To me, that does not make any sense. Coming into Game 3, games 1 and 2, the Knicks bench scored 59.5 points per game. That's by far tops out of all the playoff teams. By far, number 1 in the NBA. 59 points per game from our bench. And it's been primarily based off what Derrick Rose has been doing. That continuity he brings to that second unit. Right? I get Elfrid Payton hasn't been playing that well. I understand that he's been playing terrible for the most part for the last third of the season. And pretty much for the most part of the season. Elfrid Payton has not been getting it done. But the reason why Elfrid Payton is there was so that he can start the games off and Derrick Rose can finish it. It's not all about starting. It's not all about starting. It's what happens, who's out there when the games really matter and, at the end of the game. Okay, so I just believe it was a horrible decision to start Derrick Rose, put him in that starting lineup. All the talk was, we got to get Elfrid out of there. Elfrid Payton is the reason why Randall's not shooting well or R.J. Barrett's not shooting well. Completely not true. It's nonsense. Complete nonsense. Julius Randle and R.J. Barrett aren't shooting well. That's on them. It's not because of who the point guard is. It's because they're not shooting the basketball well, and they're not understanding the opportunities that they have for mismatches, for Julius Randle to get down in the post, to go to work in the post. He's the one taking those shots from the perimeter. He's the one not realizing the double team's coming and making quick decisions and moving the basketball around the floor. It isn't Elfrid Payton. And Elfrid Payton wasn't playing that many minutes to begin with. So why would we blame him for the reason why those guys are getting off the slow starts? It wasn't his fault. And we've seen it in Game 3. Derrick Rose started off the game. He was the one doing the majority of the scoring. It wasn't Julius Randle or R.J. Barrett. It was Derrick Rose, to his credit. But the point is, when you take Derrick Rose off of that bench, you affect the continuity. There was literally a point in the game where the bench guys were out there, and Derrick Rose is obviously off the floor because he was a starter, right? The Knicks got a 24-second violation, shot clock violation. The referees somehow, some way, found a reason to give the Knicks the ball back. And the Knicks offense was so bad at that point, off the bench, that they got another 24-second violation right after that. How does that happen? How does that happen, ladies and gentlemen? It just can't happen. I mean, look, you took Derrick Rose out off the bench, and you just affected that continuity there. Alec Burks and Emmanuel Quickley, they just do not play well together. There needs to be another ball handler on the floor to get those guys involved. And when you take Derrick Rose off of that, you see what happened. We just couldn't get anything off the bench. Our bench actually became a weakness in Game 3 because Derrick Rose wasn't there. And I get it. Elfrid Payton has not been playing well in the starting lineup. But Elfrid Payton is at least able to carry the fort and hold the fort down until Derrick Rose comes in the game to give the Knicks that spark. And as you can tell, once Derrick Rose came out the game, the Knicks just did not have any answers on how to put the ball in the basket. It was just a dreadful offensive performance for the most part. And I contribute that definitely to taking Derrick Rose off the bench and putting him into the starting lineup. He's been playing well, former MVP player, but at this point, he's not a starter. He deserves, to be on the bench playing with the bench players. And that's not a knock. Just because someone's coming off the bench does not mean it's a knock on that particular player. But as far as continuity goes, which has been the strength of this team the entire season, we screwed up our continuity by putting Derrick Rose in the starting lineup. And it just doesn't stop with him either. I didn't agree with the decision to start Taj Gibson over Nerlens Noel. Why? Why would you make that decision? Now, I get it. Taj Gibson is a better pick-and-roll defender than Nerlens Noel. I believe he can defend the pick-and-roll much better than Nerlens Noel. However, again, it goes back to what we've been talking about, that continuity. And I get it. Nerlens Noel's been hurt. He has ankle injuries. His ankle's a little bit banged up. But there was no reason for Tom Thibodeau to make a lineup change right now. Not after we tied the series 1-1 and we gone into Atlanta. I just felt like it was a panic move, and it was made prematurely, in my opinion. Prematurely. Or if you're going to make the move early, do it before the playoffs even starts. Why do it in the middle of a series? To me, it just did not make sense, ladies and gentlemen. It did not make sense at all. And I know a lot of people don't like Elfrid Payton. And, to me, he hasn't been playing well. I get it. But Elfrid Payton being on the floor as a starter had nothing to do with what he was, his performance and, as far as his production. Because I wasn't expecting to get much from Elfrid Payton from a production standpoint anyway. But as far as continuity is concerned, our continuity was compromised by changing up the starting lineup prior to Game 3. I'm sorry. I'm totally sorry. Now, with all that being said, that's not the reason why we lost this ball game. That is not the reason at all. Julius Randle, what's up, bro? Where you at? I can't find you, bro. Where you at? I mean, you have been playing absolutely terrible in this series so far against the Atlanta Hawks. 37 points per game during the regular season against the Atlanta Hawks, and now all of a sudden, what you got? 14 points per game? There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that at all. Shooting 13 for 54 from the field, that's 24%. 6 for 20 from 3, that's 30%. That is unacceptable, Julius Randle. And if you're the most improved player and you're an all-NBA player, the Knicks cannot afford to have you coming out playing this style of basketball. It is terrible what you've been doing so far in this series, and you need to step it up. Not just that, we're talking about paying you max money. You think someone wants to pay you max money for coming out and playing this type of basketball? No. You need to show up when it counts. And so far, you have not been doing that. You have not been doing that at all. A total of 44 points in 3 games, 3 playoff games? No. And then on top of that, Doris Burke, who's calling the game for ESPN, says in their pregame interviews, Julius Randle admitted to her that the Madison Square Garden crowd was getting to him in those 2 home games. Are you kidding? Are you kidding me, bro? The home crowd was getting to you? It was too much for you to handle? I don't accept that. I don't accept that at all. So you need to step it up or else this Knicks team is going home early. And RJ Barrett, don't let me get started with you. I know you're 20 years old, but I don't care if you're 40 or 50 years old. You need to step it up. You're the second best player on this team. The second best player. When Randall's not performing well or getting his shots to fall, that's where you need to step in. You need to step in. You're the second best player on this team. There's no excuse for you to be shooting 13 for 38 from the field. That's 34%. Or 4 for 16 from 3. 25%. Now, I get it. Your shot has improved. It has improved. But in the playoffs, you got to step it up. I mean, literally, wide open three-point shot after wide open shot. RJ Barrett has been missing bad. I mean, he's been wide open and he just can't find it. There's literally no excuse. These 2 guys need to show up. They're our best players, and they definitely need to show up. Now, I believe they will. I don't think this series is lost at all. Teams go through off shooting nights, In Julius Randle's case, it's been 3 off shooting nights, which can't happen. But this happens from time to time, and I believe the Knicks will improve and they will start to shoot the ball better. But if they don't, we going home. And all that talk about the most improved player and being an all-NBA player for Julius Randle, that's out the window. Yeah, you still get your all-NBA. You have your most improved award already. But what does it matter? If you're going to do all that during the regular season, we're talking about paying you max money, and can you be the number one guy on the winning team, and you come out in the playoffs and perform like this? No. So, step it up, guys, or we're going home. Once again, guys, thank you for tuning in. This is episode 7 of The Controversy. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think, ladies and gentlemen. I know we're all upset. The Knicks are down in this series 1-2. And, it's time for us to turn it around or else we're going to go home. I'll be in Game 4 at the State Farm Arena. Hopefully, I can bring the team some luck. And I believe we'll go out and we'll take care of Game 4. We'll handle our business and come back to the Garden, tie the series 2-2. All right? So, let's go Knicks. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode of The Controversy. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. Once again, guys, thank you for tuning in. And I'm out. I'll talk to you guys after Game 4. Peace.